So a lot of guys, even when I train right now, they come to my gym and I make them spend time, repetitious time like I did, on technique. They don't like it. They just want to beat bags, beat hand mitts, spar. Well, how can you do all this if you don't know the real technique that it takes to do it? So that's what's happening. We're missing all that because as soon as you come to the gym, first thing you want to do is hit something. In our day, it wasn't like that. You knew what kind of fighter you were. You knew how to jab. You knew how to throw a right hand. You knew how to throw every punch. You knew how to counter every punch. You knew how to defend every punch. You knew boxing from here. Gotta rank him probably in your top 10, maybe even your top 5.
Where do you rank Terrence, in your opinion?
I put him in the top 15, maybe the top 10, because he definitely has the skill of a top 5. Just that he hasn't had the opposition that some guys were able to get, and that's not his fault. He just made one of the best fighters in his weight class look like nobody. That's pretty damn good. Now he proved what we already thought. We just didn't see him against the best opposition near his weight class. See, this is the thing people don't understand. This is what I like about Bud. He reminds me of Roy. We ain't got to have the best opposition in our weight class.
Today I get some rounds with the GOAT. One of the GOATs. You know what I mean? 2 GOATs. Iron sharpened iron.
With his recent training session alongside Roy, JonesJR, it's clear that Terrence Crawford has chosen to learn directly from the greats as he prepares for his mega fight against Canelo Alvarez. My biggest boxing secret. As I always learn, here's me learning from one of the GOATs, Crawford said ahead of the training. Roy Jones's primary advice: focus on gaining as much weight as possible while maintaining speed and precision.
How do you think Terrence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
I mean, as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
Having recently connected with legends like Squakes Asterisk, Crawford added another icon to his camp. Roy Jones Jr., widely considered one of boxing's greatest. Bringing Jones into his preparation isn't just about technique. It's about absorbing wisdom from someone who's been to the top across multiple divisions. Like Crawford, Jones was known for defying weight class limits with grace and dominance.
Our weight class, we want the best opposition near our weight class.
There's been discussion that maybe Crawford and Inoue are going back and forth tussling for pound for pound. That maybe Inoue because of the multiple weight divisions. You're shaking your head no. Tell me why no.
Because Inoue also, when he first moved up, he lost to Donaire. Don't forget that. Bud ain't lost to nobody. Moving up or down, he moved up 3 times.
Roy Jones's credentials speak volumes. He conquered titles in the super middleweight division where Crawford will be fighting Canelo, as well as middleweight, light heavyweight, and even heavyweight. For Crawford, who's making a 14-pound leap from super welterweight to super middleweight, learning from someone who's mastered that kind of transition is both strategic and essential.
Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it's gonna be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's worked in weight class.
Beyond exchanging advice, Crawford and Roy Jones got physical. The two sparred several rounds, ran treadmill sessions together, swam laps, and focused on strength and conditioning drills. It wasn't just about theory, it was about pushing limits side by side. Asterisk.
Not really, because that's why I beat James Paul. James Paul was one of the best fighters of all time. One of the best defensive fighters.
James, that was...
But he ain't moving feet. So because I got the full feet part of me, when you at me, I'm moving my feet. I'm changing my whole location. When I come at him, he's doing this. My hand's too fast. I'm gonna find that. Yeah. You only gonna do that 1 or 2 times, I'm gonna find that. Because my hand's too quick. So people get the wrong misconception that defense is this. No. Defense is this. So wherever your back foot is, that's your defense. So your rhythm is...
Roy Jones's physical condition left a strong impression on Crawford and the gym crowd. Despite not stepping into a ring competitively since his exhibition with Mike Tyson 5 years ago, his strength and movement were undeniable. After the intense training session, Jones couldn't hold back his admiration. He had nothing but praise for Bud.
Racism is promotion.
Right, he don't want no part of Bud, what that's mean.
Yep.
Speaking of Bud, what are your thoughts on...
Roy Jones Jr. has consistently voiced genuine concern about into the Canelo fight. As one of the most dominant fighters of his generation, Jones remains deeply invested in the careers of today's elite boxers. Among them, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stand out as top-tier pound-for-pound talents, and talk of a potential clash between them has captivated fans around the globe.
That's realistic. It makes sense. And less life-risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove it. He's the best.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup.
The weight difference between the two fighters presents a major hurdle for Crawford. Ahead of training with him, Roy Jones shared his thoughts in an interview with Mill City Boxing. Although he praised Crawford's talent, he leaned toward Canelo as the early favorite in the matchup due to his size advantage.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What do you got to prove to Boot? Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would
But I'm going to lean towards Canelo early because of the size, Jones said. But if he lets Terence get into the fight, Terence is going to be a problem. Jones emphasized Canelo's punching power as the key factor. We don't know until we see Terence get hit, because we haven't seen him take that kind of power. He added, that's the deciding factor. If you can change Bud's fight plan, you've got a chance. But if you can't hurt him, you can't change his game plan, and then you're in trouble. His insight highlights the critical importance for Crawford Tony Trallis, Canelo's dangerous power.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What do you got to prove to Boot? Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud, look at you.
If Crawford can use his technical prowess and avoid Canelo's powerful shots, he might just pull off a historic upset. While the Crawford's-Canelo showdown remains a dream for fans, Canelo's focus is currently elsewhere. He's preparing for a potential bout against IBF's interim champion, William Skull. Interestingly, Roy Jones hasn't always sided with Canelo. He previously outlined scenarios in which both Crawford and David Benavidez could defeat the Mexican Chumeo for, ultimately revising his prediction. Interview Sure, speaking about Benavidez. Jones said it's a tough fight to call because Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Sometimes, power can change everything. In his interview with BoxingScene.com, Jones added, the problem is whether Canelo is willing to take that risk. I don't think he feels like he has a reason to right now. If he can't hurt Benavidez in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't see him winning that fight. Benavidez, a 2-time 168 Telby title holder, has been campaigning for a shot at Canelo for over 2 years.
Yes, but not right now. I want to see him. I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he's gonna be dominant at 54. You understand me?
That fight will go Crawford and
Crawford won a pound best fighter fight. I mean, it'll be tough. But right now, that's gonna be a tough fight for both fighters. We got to see how Crawford carries the weight.
What about Jamal? Based on what you saw from Canelo, how does he match up?
Once hailed as the world's top welterweight, Terence Crawford is now eyeing a 2-weight jump to take on Mexican superstar Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, for his part, insists a win over Crawford wouldn't add much to his legacy despite widespread belief that Crawford has a real shot at victory. If anybody can do it, it's Crawford. So you can't tell him no. Said Roy Jones Jr., I was the type of fighter that if someone said they were better than me and I could get near their weight I was coming for them. Jones added, recalling his 2003 heavyweight title win. Over John Ruiz, I gave up 33 pounds. I didn't care. I wanted to prove I was pound for pound the best and do something historic.
He showed, he fought the proper fight for the proper opponent. When you fight a guy coming up 2 weight classes, you're supposed to bully him. If he'd fought Floyd Mayweather that way back in the day, we saw a much better fight. But he didn't. But he's learned now, and that shows you that he's improved and he understands boxing more now because he bullied the smaller guy, which is what you're supposed to do. What you say?
What about Crawford, boy?
Crawford.
That's probably what Bud feels right now, Jones continued. He wants to do something historic to cement his place in boxing history. Who wouldn't want to see yesterday's pound-for-pound best face off against today's? It's a dream matchup. He adds the muscle and carries the weight well. Why doubt him? Jones asked. We know Bud isn't showing up just for a paycheck, he's coming to win. That's who he is. Jones praised Crawford's all-around game. He can box like Floyd Mayweather, but also bring the fight. He hits without getting hit. And if he can take the punch at that weight, he probably wins.
It's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo comes to
Jones, a 4 division world champion who also moved through weight classes in his career, believes Canelo's best future lies at super middleweight. He should stay at 168, said Jones. I never understood why he moved up to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol. He had already beaten Sergey Kovalev, who was at the tail end of his career. Bivol was in his prime there, 2 totally different animals. He caught Kovalev at the right time, but you can't expect lightning to strike twice. Canelo should stick to dominating where he's strongest.
Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it's gonna be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that's in weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle a weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
Come in as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
Despite many boxing analysts arguing that Crawford can't handle Canelo's size, one voice stands in disagreement. Former 2-weight world champion and now boxing analyst Bradley. On his YouTube channel, Bradley broke down both fighters and came away predicting a dominant Crawford victory. A 3-time world champ who once took a title from Manny Pacquiao, Bradley explained. Crawford beats Canelo even as the smaller man because Canelo hasn't knocked anyone out since 2021.